Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Remove and put him back. So it's a gut there. So Kachishcha Shesha Dosha Nidanam Purusha Vishesha Tadavarna Guna Nirmitamati Suvarnam Upadistati Agni Kama Katara Ibola Mukha Pishacha. So there are verses which we can recite and there are verses we can read. So this is the verses which we read. Synonyms: Kvachit, sometimes; Cha, also; Ashesha, unlimited; Dosha, of faults; Nishadam, the source of; Purusha, of a stool; Vishesham, a particular time; Tad Varna Guna, whose color is the same as that of the mode of passion; Nirmitamatihi, whose mind is absorbed in that; Suvarnam, gold; Upadishati, desiring to get; Agni Kama, by the desire for fire; Katraha, who is stubborn; Iva, like; Ulmuka Pishacham, a phosphorant light known as the will of the wisp, which is sometimes mistaken for a ghost. Translation: sometimes a living entity is interested in the yellow stool known as gold and runs after it. That gold is a source of mental opulence and envy. It can enable one to afford illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. Those whose minds are overcome by the mode of passion attracted by the color of gold, this is a man suffering from cold in the forest, runs after a phosphorescent light in a marshy land, considering it to be fire. Translation: Prabhupada enjoying is with him, Sanskrit Prabhupada. Parikshit Maharaj told Kaliuga to leave his kingdom immediately and reside in 4 places: brothels, liquor shops, slaughterhouses, and gambling casinos. However, Kaliuga requested him to give him only one place where these 4 places are included, and Parikshit Maharaj gave him the place where gold is stored. Gold encompasses the 4 principles of sin, and therefore, according to spiritual life, gold should be avoided as far as possible. If there is gold, there is certainly illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Because people in the Western world have a great deal of gold, they are victims of these 4 sins. The color of gold is very glittering, and a materialistic person becomes very much attracted by its yellow color. However, this gold is actually a type of a stool. A person with a bad liver generally passes yellow stool. The color of the stool attracts a materialistic person, just as the will of the wisp attracts who needs heat. चक्षुमलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Vadanti Swaya Vadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shilta Padgamlam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Savadetam Savadutam Pariyana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashade Shikarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evaja Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So it's my great pleasure to be here. And I thank His Grace Harishwara Prabhu, Vijay Nasing Prabhu, for giving me this chance to speak in front of such wonderful devotees like all of you. So ISKCON Whitefield congregation is famous all over. The way nice preaching is happening here, and it expanded to so many centers. So I heard 5 places parallel Sunday feast programs are going on. Yeah. So I think it started 2014, and in 10 years, so much of devotees, so much thing is happening because of the grace of Parampara and the devotees of following the Parampara purely. So it's my great pleasure to be here. And this verse today, Sukadeva Goswami is talking about the goat and is comparing the gold to yellow stool, and is so much talking about this gold. So this whole section, if we see the forest of material enjoyment. So originally, before this conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami is talking about controlling the mind and senses. And then he gives an analogy how a person is suffering with the mind and senses. Parikshit Maharaj says, I don't understand what you say. And to enumerate that, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking the whole chapter of forest of material enjoyment, how in this material world there are so many sufferings, so many encumbrances. And in that, as a part of this, is speaking about this world, the people, due to attachment, make their lives so difficult. And Srila Prabhupada talks in the purport about Parikshit Maharaj again. So let us see what happened with the Parikshit. Is my voice clear? So, so what happened, how Parikshit Maharaj told Kali to go out of his kingdom, how he encountered. In the first canto you might have heard it, but let's see and learn some of the lessons from that. So Parikshit Maharaj was on a round in his kingdom. Lord Krishna had already left, Pandavas had left, and Parikshit so when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling, it was a Satya Yuga. When Parikshit was ruling, it was a Dwapar Yuga. There. So again, he was ruling like a Dwapar Yuga, and he was maintaining the all law and order, single-handedly. And so many qualities of Parikshit Maharaj. One chapter is fully devoted in first canto to talk about the glories of Parikshit Maharaj. And then Parikshit Maharaj, he goes in the kingdom and he meets bull and a cow. The cow was crying and the bull has lost his legs. And beside that was a personality, black personality, with a black gown, a person dressed in a kingly dress but in a black gown. It looked like a Shudra wearing dress. So he was standing in the he was standing there with a sword. And Parikshit Maharaj asked the bull, what's the cause of your suffering? And amazingly, bull did not tell that he is the cause of my suffering. Instead, bull tells Parikshit that anybody who blames others for his suffering also get the same destination as the person who is giving suffering. I don't know if you heard this word. And that's where the come don't get into blame game. And hearing this, Parikshit got so interested that you must be dharma. You're talking such a high philosophy that if you identify a person who's giving you suffering, you also attain the same suffering. So surely you're dharma personified. And then he actually took Kali on task. Parikshit Maharaj took Kali on the task. And Kali intelligently fell at the feet of Parikshit. That I am also your subject, why you are killing me? Give me also some place. And then Parikshit said, I give you 4 places. Where there is meat eating, where there is intoxication, where there is slaughter, and where there are extramarital relationships. So any of these 4 places you can go and have your kingdom. And Kali said, in your kingdom nobody breaks all this 4. See, if you see, only in ISKCON people don't break 4 regs. Outside ISKCON, 99% people break 4 regs. Only 1% population outside ISKCON may not be breaking this 4 regs or others. And so Parikshit's kingdom, nobody will break 4 red principles. Everybody was following this 4. So he said, where will I go? I have no place. Give me some other place. There is no way to rule in your kingdom. And then Parikshit said, okay, go. Wherever there is excess gold. Where there is excessive gold, go to that place. And that's what Prabhupada is mentioning the purport here, that gold is a place which brings Kali. If you want to see a real character of a person, give him some money. If you want to see the real character of a person, hand over some good amount of money, his real character will come out. That's the power of money. The moment money comes in the hand, the mental thought patterns change in people's mind if they are not pure enough. And that's what the Kali got the place. And Prabhupada writes, if there is excessive gold, there is only intoxication, there is only meat eating, liquor, extramarital relationships. Right? Why is the influence of gold? And Prabhupada gives the example of America. America has so much of gold. If you see the highest reserve in the world is in America, 8,000 ton gold. India has only 800 ton gold. There, 1/10 of is the euro. And that's why the call for breaking activities is much more. So more accumulation of gold, more is the breaking of 4 regulative principles. And the Prabhupada is writing here. But now a question may come, if Parikshit could have punished Kali forever at that time, he would have not given him Abhedan, just killed him, and we were living so happily. But Parikshit was a realist. The worst comes. So, personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live with his gold. With his gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. And Prabhupada says very amazing point here in the purport. The personality of Kali become gold standardized. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard, now what to say, okay, we are not using gold nowadays, so we are safe? Percent. Even a gold standard exchange in currency is bad. Gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on a par with the reserved gold. The basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in value beyond the actual reserve gold. This artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. The price of commodities become artificially inflated because of bad money or artificial currency notes. Bad money drives away good money. Instead of paper currency, actual gold coins should be used for exchange. And this will stop the prostitution of gold. Gold ornament for women may be allowed by control, not by quality but by quantity. This will discourage lust, envy, and enmity. When there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the influence of gold is producing falsity. So if you see till 1971, the Bretton Woods Pact, the gold was used as a currency, gold standardization. A country, how much gold it has, that much only currency note it can print. But they felt problems when the economic recessions came. They find difficulty to value that. So they decide, okay, US dollar is the currency. If you US dollar, you can, that's the currency. There's no requirement of keeping that much gold. So previously, that the amount of gold the country has, that much amount of money will flow in the country. But in 1971, they broke that arrangement, and then US dollar became a currency, and different because that becomes a standard rate for exchange. But the problem is we see so much inflation today. So why Prabhupada is writing there's inflation in the world today? Because of not using direct gold, but using money, currency notes, which is not based on gold. So if you have 1 rupee gold in the market, in the Reserve Bank, but you may have 1,000 rupees notes in the currency there. And that brings inflation. What is inflation? Year by year, the price is rising. Something you purchase today for 10 rupees, tomorrow you purchase for 12, day after tomorrow 40. So that leads to a lot of falsehood. And Prabhupada advising the gold is there and gold is limited, then people will be safe from the falsehood. And moreover, virtual money. Now there is no currency also, you have bank money in the bank with some digits in the number there. So when the Lehman Brothers broke out in 2008 recession, so people are really down, is our money safe? It's all virtual numbers. See, if you see, it's all about trust. You have 1 crore rupees in the bank, but you have a trust the bank will give you back. If bank drops out, and that's how the 2008 recession came. Why? Because the money, it lost. People had crores of rupees, it gone. In just 2 years back, the Lord Jagannath bank, the account which was there in the bank, that bank got Diwaliya. And Lord Jagannath, Lakshmi was in Jagannath temple in Puri. Then Lakshmi was in Doldra. But the government came and supported, and that's how Lakshmi was saved. So the virtual economy, anytime a big boulder come upon it, it breaks about. And this is Prabhupada saying that the real standard of economy should be there. Now coming to the point of economy, if you think the modern civilization is going towards complexity, it's called a story of stuff. Now just think, if somebody had to eat a chapati in village, what it takes to eat a chapati in village? Yes, any answer? What it takes to eat a chapati in a village? How many people from a village? Yes. So you have to eat a chapati, what do you do in the village? Huh?
Flour and everything is at home itself.
I know. So what do you do? So if you have to eat a chapati, what do you have to do the process?
Just make chapati or
And take the grain from the field, haath ki chakki or whatever, make kata and chapati is made. Now we have to eat chapati in white field, what do you have to do? But how it comes? No, how the money, how the grain, how the wheat, you have to purchase atta. But how do you get the atta to Whitefield, to Bangalore, to a city?
from village.
From village. First you have to transport grains from the village to the flour mill. Grains will not come. What will come? The atta will come, no? So the first grains have to go to the flour mill. And for that you need truck. And for truck what you need? Tire industry, mechanical industry, iron industry, petroleum industry, oil industries came. And then flour mill came. Flour mill you need electrical industry, you need so many industry. So eat chapati in a village, you don't need any industry. And to eat same chapati in a city, you need so many industries. And to manage the overhead of all industries, you need software industry. And that's why which section of the world has the highest recession problem? Software. Because it's just the overhead management of the world. We say, papi पेट के लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं. We're working hard for our stomach, right? So that's so easy. Just go and get a grain. But to do that in a city, you require so many industries and so many overheads, and that's how the economy becomes shaky. Any one parameter goes down, people are working, what about the recession is happening? So many employees are going out, Google is removing so many employees, Amazon is removing so many employees, what happens to my job? Right? There's a question in mind. How many of you say, yes, today is the question, this is session. Because the whole economy has become, because of this currency virtualization, the whole economy has become such a complex thing. One thing you remove, everything bugs down. See, it has been working for so many years, but just one thing doesn't work, it doesn't work out. But if it's a book, you don't worry about it. There. So the whole machinery has become so complex, and there is so much insecurity people are feeling in life. And life could be so simple. Just eating a chapati at home, it doesn't require to work 12 hours. And just think how much population is working to produce grain. In a country, how much population is engaged in producing grains? Probably 10-15% or 20% at max. So 80%, so 20% people are working and feeding 100%, and 80% people are doing the work which is not required. Then naturally, if you have to work 3 hours, then you have to work 4 times more. And therefore people are working 12 hours a day. Previously, in the villages, people will work some 4-5 hours you work and you are done for a year. Means every day, on average, people work only 3-4 hours. They work few months, not all the months, and you have sufficient grains for the whole year. Now, because 20% population is working, feeding the 100% population, the 80% population is not doing, which is helping people to feed their stomach, then at the end, what is happening? People are working 4 times more what they should work. And that's why we say no time for spirituality. Because we have made our life so much complex, at the end we are ending having no time for spirituality. And that's what's happening. And it's all due to the greed for comforts. Other side, we may say, okay, Prabhuji, if we don't work hard, if we don't have vehicle, if we don't have technology, what about comforts? This question will come or not come. What about comforts? Now you have an AC, so you have, even in hot, you don't feel hot. You have car, so you can come easily. You don't have to do all that, right? You have a laptop, you have a smartphone with button, everything you can do. But what is the result of all that? Why people are getting so much diabetes, so much cancers, so much heart attacks? Why above 50 living life is becoming imaginary now? There. Because of sedative lifestyle, which these comforts are produced. If you don't have a car, you walk off, and that maintains your health. If you don't have to sit on a laptop, then naturally you engage your body in doing something, and you don't get diabetes because you sweat. So therefore, for this health problem which comes with the sedative lifestyle, we need so many hospitals.
One more industry.
So many industries. And hospital, once you go, if you don't have insurance, everything is gone. So therefore, the life has become so complex because of more and more greed. And anybody if is in goodness, you can see this. Is it difficult to see what's happening? That's what's happening. The whole education is based upon that. And people are not thinking out. And that's what Prabhupada is trying to say here. And there. Now, so this is all symptoms of Kali Yuga happening. This is all symptoms of Kali Yuga. Now, the question is, why did Parikshit at the first place allow the Kali to come? So the answer is, Parikshit is like a saranga, sargrahi. Devotees are sargrahi. This seeks the essence. So after hearing all this, we don't have to leave a job and go to villages. Some of the devotees tried that, give up the job and go for farming. They had a back pain after a week and they came back. But a devotee is sahargrahi. So Maharaj Parikshit was a realist, like the bee, who accepts only the essence. He knew perfectly well that in this age of Kali, auspicious acts produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious acts must be actually performed. So he was never envious of the personality of Kali. Now, what is the beauty of Kali? Kale dosho nidhi rajan asto hekaman gura. Kirtanat ev sangasya mukta sange param vijay. So there are thousands of faults in the age of Kali, but there is one fault, one good thing. What? Just by doing Harinam Sankirtan. So when we are chanting, just we doing Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Reaching perfection of life. Isn't it? That's the beauty of Kali Yuga. Just by clapping and sitting and doing kirtan, you achieve the perfection of life. Though there are so many faults, but the process of perfection becomes so easy. Plus, in previous ages, if you do a mistake even in the mind, you get a sin for it. You thought bad about somebody, you get a reaction for it. You get a sin for it. But in Kali Yuga, unless you do a bad act, you don't get sin. And good act you are not able to do. Suppose you are not able to come Mangalarti every day. You just think, I want to come to Mangalarti every day in ACS Layout Center. You get a benefit of it. Provided you sincerely think from the heart. And one day you end up coming also. So this is the beauty of Kali Yuga. If you think, I just want to 24 hours serve Radha and Krishna, our spiritual master, Guru Gauranga, and Radha and Krishna, you get a benefit of it. Just by thinking. You are not able to go for a holy dham because of genuine reasons. Of course, see, it does not say that, okay, if we can, we should do. If we are not able to do something and we think for it, that's, gosh, if I also be, serving Krishna full time, you get a benefit of it. There. You think of going to Vrindavan Dham, though you are not able to go, you get a benefit of it. There. So this is the benefit of the age of Kali. Even you think good, even without able to do good, you still get a benefit. Until the time you do bad, even the mind is pushing you to do bad, you don't get a sin of it. So that's the beauty of the age of Kali Yuga. And it takes less time to go from airport to Delhi than to come from airport to Whitefield. So if you have to go to Vrindavan, it's much easier. Right? If you have to go to Mysore or go to Vrindavan, I think it may take the same time. With the traffic problem. So this is the beauty of Kali Yuga, that you can go all dhams. Mayapur, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, you just think about it, and with devotees you go for a yatra. So Parikshit Maharaj, seeing this, did not dare. So when we understand, okay, so much complex lifestyle we have been brought up, and we have to work so hard. And then you said, how can we maximize our Krishna conscious time? How much we can maximize time to chant the holy names of the Lord? How can we maximize the time for doing Sankirtan? In fact, when we are doing Sankirtan, raising our hands, what is happening? The balls are going. You heard the story of Anand Vrindavani Mataji? Anybody heard the story? Anand Vrindavani? There was a bit of a story, I'll just explain it. So she is from Kazakhstan, near Russia. She was staying in Mayapur. So this Mataji was a preacher in Russia, and she came to Mayapur, and one devotee was sick, near death. She was just about to die. And she thought, let me go and become a nurse for the devotee, assist the devotee, so that I will get a near-death experience, so I can prepare for my death. Antakale Mameva Smaran Mukva Kalevaram. So she goes to there to serve that devotee. But what happened? She fell sick. And now she was actually near death. She was so sick. She got so high fever. She was about to die. And then the nurse was, and she forgot who is in that amnesia, in that difficulty, she forgot who is she. And then a nurse, now nurse is not a devotee, nurse was a Muslim. But she's is still Mayapur, so nurse was telling, chant Hare Krishna. You're a devotee. And then finally the doctor came, and the doctor was asking the nurse who is she. He says she's a Hare Krishna devotee. And then doctor started chanting Hare Krishna for her. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Those are not devotee. You know why? Because devotees in Kazakhstan, that knowing that she is sick, they were doing 3 hours kirtan for her. And that holy name from Kazakhstan traveled to Mayapur and came in the form of this help from the doctors. The holy name appeared here, right? What? The chanting. So any devotee is sick or deathbed, we should chant there. This is the best thing to do. And when the dog chanted, and she died. Hearing the holy name, she died. Now what happened after she died? She saw, and she had been worshipping Lord Jagannath from childhood. So she saw Lord Jagannath. And not in the deity form, but Jagannath in a Krishna form, in a bluish form, there, with extended eyes, similar form, but in a Krishna form. And she saw, and she remembered most of those scenes in her life where she was doing kirtan. And she saw from beginning, from the time she started chanting one round, she saw Krishna was always there with her. In fact, she remembered one time, because they were preaching in the Muslim countries and others, so some Muslim people were about him to beat her. And they sent one gunda also there to beat her, probably. And that's the time some big Akriti came, big person came, and that threw that gunda. And she saw that was the Lord who came to there. Now she is recalling, at the time of death you recall whatever has gone in your life. So many devotional scenes are coming in life. So she could see, she thought that, and she was, they put a court case. Because she was preaching, so they put a court case. But finally she won the court case, she came out of the court case there. So she was seeing that every place actually Krishna was helping. Krishna was only removing all the problems. And out of that, the most important scenes were of Sankirtan. Most important scenes were of Sankirtan. So what was happening in the so she saw whenever devotees are doing like this chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Big energy is moving out. Of pink balls and other balls are moving towards heaven. You might have heard, no? When we raise our hand, even heavens are purified. So I used to think it a little joke. But when I read the story, I understood, oh my God, it happens. Only we don't realize it. So when you're dancing in Sankirtan, you're raising your hand and dancing Sankirtan, is purifying the whole universe there. And she actually saw that. And then she came back to life. She had a near-death experience. She saw all that, she came back to life. In fact, she gave a class, she's still alive in Mayapur. And till 2 years, she did not spoke about it. Then after 2 years, she felt compelled to tell it and reveal it to the devotee community, what all happened. Okay. So, don't think that we are chanting, we think that maybe Krishna is hearing our prayers, maybe Krishna is there with us, but Krishna is there in every phase of our life, watching what we are doing and how we are taking his shelter from the time we start chanting the holy names of the Lord. So this is the beauty of Kali Yuga. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. Kalo Nase, 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 that's Annatha. So we take to the chanting of the holy name, it can bring so much transformation in our life. Okay. So this is the beauty of the age of Kali Yuga. So Parikshit saw that. There's another beauty of the age of Kali, which is mentioned in the 11th canto. Nahi yatha paramalabha dehinam brahmatam iha yato vindita paramam shanti nashriti samsriti. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for embodied souls forced to wander through the material world than the Supreme Lord Sankirtan movement, by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death. So this beautiful person, according to Srila Swami, even Satya Yuga, so what perfection is available in Kali Yuga was not available in Satya Yuga. Now hearing that we laugh, right? what perfection in spiritual life was not available in Satyuga is available in Kali Yuga. And he gives a reason why. Jiva Goswami explained this. Why? In former ages, life was very cool. Like if you go and preach to cool people, they will take bhakti also, pious people, they will take bhakti very coolly. How many have seen that? It's difficult to preach to pious people. Very pious people. Yeah, so one devotee is preaching in Mysore, he was telling, preaching in Mysore is more difficult than preaching in Bangalore. Because Bangalore people are feeling the heat of passion of Bangalore lifestyle. So it's easy for them to pick up Krishna consciousness. Mysore is so calm, it's difficult for people to become serious in Krishna consciousness. So Satyuga was so calm, there are no miseries that people could not helplessly chant. You think, no, this chanting is so easy process, we will go and do austerities. They thought chanting to be too simple to do it. So that's how our mind gets trouble now. Its holy name is too simple to focus. Why to focus? And our mind keeps wandering. Same repetition we are doing. So they thought, oh, it's very simple. Chanting the holy names is a very simple job. We want to do austerity and things there. They could, do meditate for thousands of years without eating. So in any age who completely takes shelter of Lord's holy name gets all perfection. But people of Satyuga do not consider that merely the Lord's moving the tongue and lips, chanting the Lord's holy name is a complete process. And holy name is the only shelter. They could not feel that. But what's the beauty in Kali Yuga? So in Satyuga, sinful life is practically unheard of. And therefore people are not afflicted by the terrible reactions seen in Kali Yuga, such as world war. There is no world war. Even war will happen, it will happen in Kshatriyas. Even the Kurukshetra war happened, how many civilians died? 0. Now if the war happens, who dies? Civilians die more than the soldiers. See, the soldiers are not so fearful of nuclear bomb as we are sitting in the city, if a war happens. Right? They won't put nuclear bomb on the soldiers, they put nuclear bomb on the cities. So this is the Kali Yuga problem there. Then we see whole Ukraine, it's not that the soldiers are getting killed, everybody is getting killed. The civilians, everything. This happens only in Kali Yuga. This doesn't happen in any other ages, this kind of wars. Even wars are there, people will not be killed. Only the Kshatriyas will go to the battlefield like Kurukshetra and they will fight. But in Kali Yuga, everybody is killed there. And so much terror, so much of problems. In Kali Yuga, the conditions are so unbearable, the governments are so obnoxious, our body is so ridden by physical and mental disease, and even self-preservation is so troublesome that the condition shows intensely cry out the holy name of Krishna, begging for relief from the onslaught of this age. The members of the Krishna conscious movement have vivid and unforgettable experiences of the terrible contradictions inherent in human society in this age, and thus they are firmly convinced that there is nothing to be achieved except the mercy of the Supreme Hare Namir Kevalam. And therefore, because what is special in Golok Vrindavan than Vaikuntha? So Gopkumar goes to Vaikuntha, he was not satisfied. So this comes in Bharat Bhagavatam written by Sanatana Goswami. So Gopkumar goes to Vaikuntha and he wanted to embrace Lord Narayan. Like Gopas embraced Krishna, so this Gopkumar he had a relationship with Krishna like a Gopa. And he went by mistake to Vaikuntha. So he didn't know about Golok Vrindavan. And he went to embrace Krishna, Lord Narayan. And all residents of said, hey, yahan pe ye allow nahi hai. You can't embrace the Lord. And he became little morose. Then Narad Muni came and said, you go to Dwarka, from Vaikuntha you can see Dwarka. Then we will talk. So he went to Saket Dham, Ayodhya, then he went to Dwarka. And that time Uddhava met this Gopkumar and Narad Muni comes. And then Narad Muni and Uddhava gives him all siksha that there is a abode like Golok Vrindavan, which is only attained by utter dependency and utter humility. Danyata and utter dependence on Krishna there. So to go to Golok Vrindavan or to have a relationship with Krishna in Sakya, Dasya or Madhurya Bhav, you need utter dependence, which was not possible for the people of Satyuga, which according to this purport, it's only possible for the people of Kali Yuga because they're so much miserable to become utterly dependent on Krishna. So whenever you find any problems in life, whether in family, outside, understand there's a problem coming, to utterly depend on Krishna to make more spiritual advancement. And that's the beauty of Kalika. So there are already so many muses, we don't have to invite more. Okay. So one devotee had a class, Viprada, Santuta, Shashva, Tatra, Tatra, Jagat Guru. So he started praying for more difficulties. He was a new boy, so over enthusiastic. And then some difficulties came, he stopped chanting only. So there is sufficient difficulties, you don't have to invite for more difficulties, but you can use the difficulties to become more Krishna conscious. We can use the difficulties. So first thing, that if you chant Hare Krishna, difficulties will anyway reduce because you are becoming pious. And secondly, when difficulties come, you can use them to become more Krishna conscious. That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So this is the whole we see about. So a few more stories about gold. People looking for the gold. So in the story of Nal, Kuber and Manigriva, which comes in the 10th canto. So Nal, Kuber and Manigriva are the sons of whom? Kubera. Who is Kubera? Treasurer of demigods. Of course, in ISKCON, somebody's treasury has no power. The money is very properly accounted, not a single penny can go ahead. But Kubera has a lot of powers. He's the one, and he can use a lot of dhana for himself. It's called dhanada. If you want wealth, worship Kubera. The scripture says. So this Kubera, because the Nal, Kuber and Manigriva were the sons of Kubera, and then naturally when the wealth comes, what happened? Intoxication. So they were born, and Kubera is a devotee of the Lord. So they are born in a great family, but due to and see many of the children born in a rich family, what happens to them? 90% cases they get spoiled because free money. Then they get friends, Ayyash friends, and they get into bad habits there. But the children born in a poor family, even they go out also, they save single rupee. So they can't do. And once I was hearing, is when Radha Govind Maharaj lecture was saying, नरक जाने के लिए कितनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, नरक जाने के लिए कितनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. अगर आपको दारू पीनी है तो बड़ी महंगी आती है, जुआ खेलना है तो बहुत पैसा चाहिए. तो नरक जाने के लिए कितनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, पर वैकुंठ जाने के लिए कुछ मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ती. जब करने के लिए कोई पैसा लगता है, कोई भी जब कर सकता है, पर नरक जाने के लिए कितनी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. तो लेकिन जब पैसा आ जाता है ना, तो नरक जाना अपना आसान हो जाता है. जब पैसा आ जाता है तो उस पैसे से नरक जाना अपने आप आसान हो जाता है. तो वो हुआ नल कुबेर और मणिग्रीव के साथ में. तो जब वो पैसा आने लगा तो देन जैसे अभी अय्याशी करते हैं, दे विल जस्ट रोम विद द अप्सरास. दे रोम विद द अप्सरास वेयर इन द Nandanganan garden. And one day Nag Muni came, and they were enjoying the Apsaras naked, and Nag Muni passing by. So Apsaras, so they have heard many stories how the sages becomes, they'll curse you. So they immediately when they're close and bhag gayi wahan se, abhi bach gaye. So Nal, Kuber and Manigriva was so drunk they didn't realize that Narad Muni has come. So what happened? Narad Muni thought, "Arey, what these fellows are doing? They should have been doing bhakti, and they are doing this all nonsense here, just come naked lying in Nandanganan garden. Like people go in Ganges to get purified, and they contaminated Ganges by doing all these activities. So it's Alakananda, Ganges in the heavenly planets. So that kind of Ganges, Nal, Kuber and Manigriva were doing, and those Ganges were coming down. So people go to Tirth Yatra to get purified, and they are contaminating the Tirth only. They said, let me do something. And he thought, what should he do? So Narada Muni was not angry seeing that, but he was feeling compassion and thought, let me curse them to become trees. Let them curse them to become trees, and both Nal, Kuber and Manigriva became trees. Now in the body of Nal, Kuber and Manigriva, they have a memory of Nal, Kuber and Manigriva. They will be seeing so many beautiful gopis going in the Vrindavan, but they cannot enjoy them. They are in the body of trees, and they have to stand. So because of the thousands of years of this punishment, they got purified. But Narada Muni gave a benediction. They will be liberated by Lord Krishna. So not just think if you are in the home of Krishna seeing all the pastime, how nice it would be. How will we want to see those pastimes in the courtyard of Nand Baba? I think. So these trees are seeing those pastimes, but they had to do tapasya of being trees for 10,000 years first. And because of that tapasya and the benediction of Narad Muni, they are seeing all beautiful pastimes of Krishna, what is happening in the courtyard of Nanda Baba. And Krishna thought, oh, my devotee had blessed them. So I had to fulfill the order of my devotee. He took the wood, though Krishna himself was bound. The Lord himself was bound. The thing which was binding the binding mortar, he put the mortar through this, and the trees fell. Boom. And the trees, they fell, and Nanku and Manikuru came out. But by the time they have become pure devotees. By this time they have become pure devotees, and Krishna sent them back to heaven. So then they will go to heaven and preach about Krishna consciousness. देखो भगवान ने इतना मर्सी किया, भगवान इतने सुंदर हैं. They will talk all the pastimes of Krishna. So because they will go out back for preaching, so Krishna left them. And they became very nice preachers of Krishna consciousness. So how? So Narad Muni says them, out of all the four, Janam, Aishwarya, Shruti, Shivi, Edamana, Muda, Pavan, which is the most intoxicating is the wealth. What is most intoxicating is the wealth. Can take a person to a hellish way there. And that's why he took up all the wealth and they lost all the wealth. So, therefore, Sukdev Goswami is calling gold as yellow stool, which could lead a person to hellish life. Then there is another story. One time, there was a Brahmana goes to Jagannath Puri. This comes in Chaitanya Mangal. So this Brahmana goes to Jagannath Puri. He was very, very poor and praying to Jagannath, if you don't give me money, I will fast till death. So he was in fasting till death, Anshan. Now that's the time one very big personality came from the ocean. And he went behind that personality. Who's that personality? And the personality took a little form and goes and meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vibhishan, you came. He was actually Vibhishan. Vibhishan is still living. He comes to the Indian shore there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vibhishan, you have come. And see this Brahmana, tell him, what is he doing? And then they were talking. Brahmana heard, Arey. And Vibhishan telling, you are the supreme, you are the same Lord Ramchandra, whom you have come now as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bless him. And he heard the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vibhishan. He became a devotee. He thought, let me live this hurt and become a devotee of Lord. Second, there. So he was there. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, what fool he is, he's asking wealth for the Lord. He could have asked Prema Bhakti. And every day was saying, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam, jagadish kamay, mam janmani, janmanishware, bhaktar, bhakti, ahetaki. So these are the dangers of the wealth. Now, you may say, अरे प्रभु जी क्या फिर wealth ना कमाएं? देखो, another thing, I want to show you on something. Now, many times we think, why scriptures talk about so much about detachment? ये भी मत करो, वो भी मत करो, ये भी sense enjoyment मत करो. इतना करेंगे तो can't we just not do bhakti? Why to follow so many rules and regulations? How many feel this? It feels or shy to speak that we feel like that, right? So I'll give you a very technical explanation of this. See, we are Atma, right? Everyone understands here we are not body, we are. Then what is this body? What is this body made of? So what all other things are there in the body then? So mechanisms should be there, no? Like we say mind. So like that, what all components are there? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. With this body is made of. What about senses? Senses are different, no? So actually, what the scripture says, when we say eyes, it's not this eyes. It's a subtle eye by which we see. Like even when you can close eyes, you can see the form of Krishna. Or you can think of anything else when we close eyes, right? So who is seeing that? That is subtle eye which is seeing. So therefore, there the five senses are different from the body: earth, water, fire, ether. Eyes, nose, ears, and things. Same way, mind, intelligence, false ego are different. And same way, five working senses are different. So together constitute 24 elements. So the soul is covered by chitta. Chitta means awareness. You're conscious of it. It's covered by false ego, then mind, intelligence, then gyan indriyas, then the karma indriyas, then the gross elements, earth, water, fire, ether, then tanmatras, sound, touch, form, taste, smell, like the 24 elements. So, if you see, if we identify with this any of these 24 elements, we are in Maya. What is Maya? Yes, right, what is Maya? So the soul is not any of these 24 elements. So the moment soul identifies with any of these 24 elements, it's in Maya. And therefore, till the time the soul comes out and entangled on those 24 elements, it will stay here. Are you able to understand this part? Till the time the soul is identifying with any of these 24 elements, it will stay in the material world, repeated birth and death. So to stop this repeated birth and death, so you have to stop identifying with these 24 elements. In the sense, start understanding I am not the mind, I am not the intelligence, or give up the desire to enjoy. Then person will not get a body made of those 24 elements. And by cultivating a spiritual desire, person will get a spiritual body. So if we want to go to Vaikuntha, we want to get a spiritual body, then what we have to do, we have to stop identifying with the 24 material elements, stop giving desire to enjoy another 24 elements. We have to stop the desire for enjoying another 24 elements and engage the 24 elements in service of Krishna. So the Jnani way is neti, neti, neti. Okay, stop all the 24 elements. Bhakta way is engage all the 24 elements in service of Krishna. Mana Krishna Padaravind. Sabhai Mana Krishna Padaravind. Like Amrish Maharaj formula. Engage all these 24 elements in Krishna service. And therefore, the scriptures mention so many rules and regulations of not enjoying these 24 elements. Because if finally we have to go to Vaikuntha, we need these rules and regulations to save us to give in to enjoying these 24 elements, and rather than using these 24 elements in service of Krishna. And this is actually the process of self-realization. We read the book Science of Self-Realization. And that is why the Bhagavatam is so much again and again talking about that people are working, this love, country, society, these are different phases of lust. So why Bhagavatam is saying? Because everything, all this are based on the bodily concept of life. There. And to overcome this bodily concept of life is the goal of human form of life. And therefore the rules and regulations of Bhagavatam is mentioned for that purpose. But, as I said, devotees don't see gold as Maya. A devotee sees gold as Lakshmi. Now hearing this, जैसे अरे प्रभु जी हमें कुछ वेल्थ नहीं कमाना है क्या भिखारी रहे क्या फिर इतना वेल्थ के नुकसान है नहीं हमको वेल्थ क्या है लक्ष्मी है तो इसलिए वैष्णवास बाहर वाले लोग लक्ष्मी की अलग से पूजा करते हैं राइट लक्ष्मी गणेश दे विल वर्शिप बट वी नेवर वर्शिप लक्ष्मी लाइक दैट वी वर्शिप लक्ष्मी So Ravana wanted Lakshmi for her himself, Sita for himself. But Hanuman wanted Sita for Lord Ram. See, Ravana also was talking to Mother Sita. Hanumanji also talked to Mother Sita. But Ravana would torture Sita. But Hanumanji was serving Mother Sita by taking her to Ram. So devotees also need wealth. Devotees also need wealth to engage in service of Lord. So when the same gold is used for our own sense enjoyment, it brings misery. But when the same gold is used for the service of the Lord, it brings happiness, brings the spiritual advancement, brings purification. And that's why in Vedic time, even if you go to Anant Padmanabham temple, Who is the biggest treasure in the whole world? Anant Padmanabha. Lord Anant Padmanabha is the biggest treasure. One vault was open, its value was estimated to 1 lakh crore. And another vault yet to open, estimation is 10 lakh crores. Biggest treasure. Because the king, whatever wealth will come, they will bring that wealth to Lord. And they made Lord as the king. And still it is preserved because the wealth of the Lord. Though Mughals came, Britishers came, nobody could take that money. In fact, when that vault was open, it was open in 2011 or 12 somewhere. So some people were claiming that it should belong to the government, belong that, and that people died. The chief minister said, no, belongs to the Lord. So when we use all wealth for serving Krishna, it brings auspiciousness. It brings opulence. So Lakshmi or gold or wealth is not a problem. We use that gold for our own enjoyment or use for serving the Lord, that changes the perception. So devotee, rather than trying to accumulate more and more, should try to give more and more to Krishna. And then you will be happy. But the moment we want to enjoy this for ourselves, then what happens? We become will of the wisp. You see in the purport translation, so probably will of the wisp. No, what is the will of the wisp? Vishnu Jagdishankar writes, previously people will get lost in the jungles during their travels. And really cold season in the night. And then looking if some fire is there. But what happens? They will see some ghost. They will see some light coming from a ghost. And they will consider that light to be the fire. And they will go on that ghost only from where light is coming, and they will die. So greed for money is like that. So one person was told, you can take as much land as much you can walk in a day, morning to evening. Morning to evening, how much land you can walk, you can take. So without eating anything there. So he kept running whole day. And he thought he'll come back, but in between only he fell flat and died. Because it was a hot sun. In order to acquire more and more land, he forgot about the sun, but sun did not forget him, and he got passed away due to greed. So everyone trying to accumulate more and more, but one day all of us will leave that wealth with us. So therefore scripture says, we should use our wealth in serving the Lord. Thus, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in one of the purport of the third canto, Ayurharadi Vaipamsam Uddyanasta Chayan Vaso. In a Karma Kanda, he talks about a Karma Kanda. If you give 1 rupee to a beggar, that 1 rupee will come back to you. If you give 1 rupee to a Brahmana, who is not a proper Brahmana, born in a Brahmana family, 2 rupees will come back to you. If you give rupee to a Brahmana who is learning the Vedas but yet not perfect, 1,000 times it will come back. But if you give to a devotee who is perfect, a devotee who is living, a Vaishnava who has understood the purport of the scriptures, infinite time that money will come back. So you see, many people are rich without working hard because they have done a lot of charity in their past life. They have done a lot of charity in their past life. And you see, many people, they work so hard, they get so little. I've seen in my own home, my mother tells, my Pardada, grandfather's father, they were so rich, then when 84 emergency came, they had so much wealth they had to put in the ground. So much wealth. But after my Pardada passed away, they were my grandfathers. They were little conjuice. They won't give much charity. And everything slowly went off. So much so, after 20-30 years, hardly something was remaining. Any business was remaining at home. After 20-30 years, the business there. So she would always tell my father, do charity, do charity, do charity. There. So many people will talk about, if you give charity, then you can live prosperously in this world. If you're like Avanti Brahman in the 11th canto, he was very conjuice. Very rich, but very conjuice. Even he won't give clothes to his children, that much conjuice, and won't do any puja. Finally, all wealth left him, all family members also left him. But because of some poor Sukriti in that poor state, he became a devotee of the Lord and achieved perfection. There. So what it shows that when we give, by giving, we get more. So even we want to be prosperous in life, by giving we get. So same way, if we give one moment, so Vishwanath Thakur writes, if we give one moment to Krishna, we get 1,000 moments back. Means eternal life back. So now you're giving this time to Krishna to come for the programs, to chant the holy name. So Krishna will give you eternal life back home, back to Godhead. So this is the best investment of time in life. What? Giving time to Krishna. And there is no better investment than this, than what we are investment. See, we spend so much time here and there, we look for returns, right? Which deposits, which LIC policy, which look for return. So best return is give your time to Krishna, you get the maximum returns. So therefore, devotee take wealth as Lakshmi. So whatever money he has, he sees as Lord's property. Let me use all my income in such a way the Lord is pleased. Even use for my family in a way the Lord is pleased. There. So that's how the devotee sees Lakshmi, that it belongs to Krishna, and let me use in serving Krishna very, very nicely. And serving, taking care of the family is also Krishna's service. Because the family members are also Krishna's devotees. There. So that becomes Krishna's seva. So when we see wealth like that as for service of Krishna, then what happens? Person doesn't get entangled by the ill effects of gold and give charity to Krishna. There. Then that ill effects of wealth doesn't come, and one doesn't lose anything, but one gains multiple times, many times, just by giving his hard-earned wealth to Krishna. There. And why we have to follow so many strict rules and regulations in life? Why? Because you have to come out of that Maya. We used to hear, no? If you are not in Maya, you are in Krishna. If you are not in Krishna, you are in Maya. थोड़ा बीच में भी होते हैं ना, तो डिवोटी ऐसा कैसे बोलते हैं या तो कृष्णा या माया, पर हम कई बार बीच में भी होते हैं, माया में भी नहीं होते, कृष्णा में भी नहीं होते, नहीं. But if you see this analysis of these 24 elements, if we are identifying with our mind, mental desires, with our intelligence, with our false ego, we are somewhere or the other in Maya. And that's what the whole scriptures are telling us. Jiva jago, Gwara chande, rise up. Oh, so it's that. So I have one more story to tell about King Nega. But before I tell a story, I want to take question answers. If there's sufficient question answers, we'll skip the story. If there's sufficient question answers, we'll take the story. So any questions till now? Hare Krishna.
So that inner Gyanendriya, subtle and the outermost, they both are same. So what is the exact difference?
Okay, I'll little bit explain it more. This is soul. So the first layer comes to chitta, by which you become conscious of the world. Then false ego, ahankar, which binds everything. Then mind, then intelligence. Now what is this Gyanendriyas? They are subtle sense. See, they are not just hard senses. They are the subtle, which is in the subtle body. So these are the Gyanendriyas.
Subtle in the sense we can experience them even without using, like I can close eyes, still I can see some.
So what is seeing? How you are able to see? Even you are closing your eyes, you are able to see some images in your mind. Then what is that seeing? That is the eye, actually. This is just like a telescope. Telescope is also an instrument. These eyeballs are also instrument. No, this is the hardware. The hardware. The subtle body is like a software only. And soul is like an operator. So these are the Gyanendriyas. So they are created at the time of creation, separately. Listen, don't try to enjoy your eyes. Don't enjoy material beauty from your eyes. Enjoy Krishna's, see Krishna's beauty. Their eyes will become spiritual. So before liberation, person has to give this material eyes. Subtle body has to get purified. Material mind to convert to spiritual mind. Before person attains liberation or attain a spiritual body. The spiritual body has only spiritual desire. Material body has a material desire. Yes. Any other questions? So I think I'll 6 minutes left. So I tell the story of King Naga. So King Naga, he had he would give lot of wealth to the Brahmanas. So he will choose a movement in a Karamkandi way where giving one cow will be equivalent to 1,000 cows. So like that he'll give 10,000 cows, become crores of cows. So he gave some cows to one Brahmana, and then he gave some set of cows to other Brahmana. But what happened? One cow went from this cow to this group to that group. And then what happens because of going that way, the two Brahmanas start fighting. Ye meri gai, meri gai. And he said, I will give you 100 more cows. You leave it. He said, no, we want that cow only. And both Brahmanas angrily left that place. And because of that, so when he went to Yamaraj, Yamaraj said, see, you have done a lot of piety, but you have one papa, for which you have to become a lizard. So first you want to become lizard or take your piety? He said, first I will become lizard. So he became a lizard. So one day, Lord Krishna and his children were playing in the forest, and they said, "Arey, amazing lizard has come." And then Krishna went and took that lizard. The moment Krishna touched the lizard with his lotus feet, it became liberated and came as Niga. And then Krishna asked how he became. Then Niga told because of this. Now, how did he got darshan of Krishna? Because he served a Brahmana. A Brahmana was making a temple and he said, please give me some charity. So he gave charity to that Brahmana for making a Vishnu temple, and Brahmana blessed him that Krishna Matirastu. So therefore he got darshan of Lord Krishna. So there is no benefit of Indian charity, but charity to Vaishnavas is the best charity in life. And then Krishna tells, nobody should take the property of the Brahmanas. His whole family lineage is destroyed if somebody takes the property of the Brahmanas. So nobody should take the property of the Brahmanas. So this, Krishna is giving the example from this, that how taking somebody else's money could make so much of problems in one's life there. So with the conclusion, what the conclusion we learn is, beginning we learn how the beauty of the age of Kali, and the story of stuff, how the modern world we have made it life so complex, unnecessarily working so much hard, but then we have to seek the essence, use your job, the complexity of life in preaching Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness is the best use of a bad bargain of the age of Kali. Then we saw how Parikshit Maharaj, how the fifth place for is gold, the Nal Kuber and Manigrava story. Then we saw the 24 elements, how it's Maya and how it's everything. We saw how Harinam Sankirtan in Anand Vrindavani Mataji. She saw that how the beauty of the Harinam Sankirtan, you attain all the perfection of life. And then we learn about charity, the principles of charity. We should not see money as Maya, but see as Lakshmi, which belongs to Lord Narayan. So when we try to enjoy for itself, it becomes Maya. When we try to serve the Lord, it becomes Lakshmi. And Lakshmi blesses you with devotion to God, and Maya Devi takes away your devotion to God and anger in there. So this is how whole purport and things we can understand with it. So thank you very much. So it's my pleasure coming here to ISKCON. You might feel seeing so many wonderful devotees, so many Prabhujis, Matajis there. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.